way we are functioning. There has been a countrywide and worldwide lockdown, a series of lockdown, and now we are moving towards the process of unlocking. So it is creating a lot of stress and anxiety. There is a new normal which is very different than our previous lives, and with regard to that, staying grounded is very much essential. And in this webinar, we are going to discuss, and participant is going to discuss about the same topic from alternative story. There are resource person Miss Rashi Vidyasagar and Miss Apurva Rao, who is the executive of the alternative story, and her team has joined us today. So there is a lot to know and a lot to discuss about the topic. So may I call upon Mr. Nirish Anthony. He's from CHILDLINE India Foundation, Childline Knowledge Hub, and to build the context and the background of today's session. Nirish, over to
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Yeah, thank you, Vachanti. It's my pleasure to have this platform to present this topic before you. As we all, as Vachanti has rightly said, we are all in a unprecedented situation where we don't have much of a clue what we are going through and what we have to face in the future. So we are all feeling a little out of control, which is normal right now. Definitely, it is an uncomfortable situation that we know, to which we sometimes we react to the discomfort by avoiding it or by trying to assert control over it. Both can have kind of a negative impact or negative effects in our life. It is affected our professional life as well as our personal life. The pandemic has started maybe well, even though it started in January. In India, it really affected us all from March onwards. So it's going to be the 8th or 7th month that we are in this situation. And people are quite worried about all of these things that is going on. One thing I remember, which is, one of the, as today's webinar is on grounding, means staying grounded to the testing times. One thing I remember in Kerala, as you know, I'm from Kerala. In Kerala, we have frequent power failures, means the current goes off and goes on during night or day. Nowadays, it's quite okay. But earlier days, the power failure was very common in Kerala. During those times, when the power fails in my home, my mother used to tell me, Niresh, please look at the other house, the neighboring house, whether they're having the power or not. Then I will just keep up and see whether their lights are on or off. If I say, okay, Mama, their house also is not having the power, then my mother gets kind of a relief. And I have seen the other situation also where my house power only has gone and they all have the power. Then I have seen my mother feeling kind of a discomfort. So it's kind of a situation that we are going. In a way, we can be so better in a position that, it's affected the entire world, the entire globe. All are stuck with this pandemic situation. So we have many things in hand which we can control, but there are many things with us which we can't control. Even when, suppose we plan an event or plan sometimes very quite okay, sometimes it will not turn out the way we planned, and which may break our heart, or sometimes it may add to our delight also. So there is always the dark side as well as the bright side for everything. So, but accepting those dark and the bright side of each component or each element in our life is what leading us to a kind of a normalcy or help us to lead a normal life. I think this grounding techniques is one of the strategy. Grounding is one of the strategy to cope with a stressful situation. As you all know, grounding is a kind of a technique. It may have physical, mental, and social implications, but it will definitely help us to be rooted, to be balanced with the realities in hand, or to be able to understand the present situation and take the life forward. So I think today we are all will be, I think we all will get some kind of an insight and some practical tips on how to take the challenging situations that we have today from alternative stories. And today we have two respective speakers from alternative story. One is Rashi Vidyasagar. We know her quite before itself. She has already been in one of our previous webinars. And the other person is Apurva S. Rao. She's also has taken one webinar session already for us. So I hope that they can guide us or give a kind of a situation where we can face our life in the future and the present with more clarity and confidence. Thank you.
Thank you, Nirish. Thank you very much for building the context and the background of today's session. Now I may call upon Miss Rashi Vidyasagar and Miss Apurva S. Rao to conduct today's session. Welcome to you. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Vaijanti. Thank you, Nirish, for the warm welcome and for setting out the context. I think that it's been great to be a part of the webinars in the past, and we hope that this webinar also is just as useful to all of you. So just based on the experiences that we've had, we've tried to make this webinar a little more experiential, which means we'll be focusing a lot more on how you feel and how you can deal with feeling not grounded. So we have been talking about feeling grounded a lot. So I think we should start off with that feeling. Apurva, if we can start with the video at first. So I'm going to play a video, or rather Apurva is going to play a video right now. I hope all of you are in a comfortable place, sitting comfortably. And we're just going to play it for around 2 to 3 minutes. Just focus on the screen, just focus on the sounds that you're listening to, and try your best to feel as relaxed as you can while listening to the sounds. We will not be talking for the next 2 minutes. So it's not because of your connection or anything else. Just listen to the sounds that are coming from the video. So just focus on that. Apurva, since you're on mute, I don't think we can listen to the sounds.
Can you hear me now, Rashi? I'm playing the video.
I can hear you, but not the video.
How about now?
No. You'll have to share your volume as well. Yeah.
So, one second.
Not yet, Apurva.
Can you hear now?
No.
Okay, one second. There seems to be some issue with my internet.
Yeah, that bird humming sound you can.
Okay, I'll just try leaving the meet and come back. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try and play it till then.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, everyone. Technology always seems to be our greatest foe in these times. Just give us a.
When you are sharing your screen, you will see an option saying enable computer audio at the bottom of your screen. Just click that so that you can
I'll do
share
that.
computer audio.
Yes.
Growing businesses need a hosting solution that is powerful yet easy to manage. Let's look at how business hosting is a simple yet powerful solution over shared hosting and VPS. Meet Joe. He commutes to his business on the bus. The bus is affordable. Joe must adapt to the bus route and schedule, and he has to share space with other passengers. Shared hosting is similar. It's an affordable solution where you share server space with other websites, and it works great for basic sites with a low to moderate number of visitors. If Joe needs more space, power, and control, he can drive a car.
Can you see it now?
Yes,
Yeah, we
Abuba,
see
we can.
Number of visitors. If Joe needs more space, power, and control,
Yeah, I
he
think
can drive
we
a car.
add, unfortunately. Yeah, now we are out. Okay. So one person has said that the voice is not clear, but apart from that, how did you, I just wanted to check with all of you, how did you feel on listening to this? What was the feeling, if you can describe, if you can unmute yourself and describe it?
Actually, it was too brief for it to actually register.
I can imagine, yes. So we will be sending the video out to everyone to kind of look at it, and we'll be doing many more exercises to kind of feel the actual thing that we've been talking about. But do you get a sense of what grounding might be if you listen to such music? If anyone else wants to share?
Yeah, I don't want to, because that would be a kind of prejudiced
I
answer.
can imagine. I can imagine.
Let somebody else share.
Anyone else who wants to tell us how you felt on listening to the music? If not, then we can move ahead, I guess. Okay. Apurva, can you share your screen now?
Yeah. One second. Yeah, can you see it now?
Yes, perfect. Yes. If you can make it full screen.
Can I just show it here?
Yeah, you can edit it. When you click on edit, you should be able to do the full screen thing.
Do I have to sign up? You have got some responses on chat,
I'm
Rashmi,
just looking at it. Yes.
related to your question.
Yes. So Chitrakala does
do that,
say,
I'll just, yes.
yeah. So Chitrakala does say that she felt like there was a calm after the storm, which is a quite interesting way of looking at the way you felt before it. So that is great. I'm very glad that you can say that. Also, the morning bird, which is a very interesting way of looking at it. So I'm glad that you could say that as well. So yeah, I'm also looking at YouTube. So your comments are being looked at. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Please do share your thoughts on YouTube as well. This is great. Yeah. So we will be looking at your YouTube comments. So please do share with us with that as well. So I want to start by talking about what groundedness means. We've been talking about, and it was also the title of our webinar of what grounded can mean. So if you look at a tree, that's the best example that I can give you. Like, a tree is big and whole. There are so many leaves, and the focus of the tree is basically the leaves, the trunk, everything. But groundedness really talks about its roots, what keeps it stable, what keeps it there for centuries together, right? If you've seen a banyan tree or a peepal tree, which are supposed to be there for centuries, there are trees that have been there 2000 years. And what makes a banyan tree or a peepal tree stand there for centuries? It's because it's grounded. It's created these roots into the ground, and it's created these systems that are so inside the ground that it gives us structure. When we look at us, obviously we as human beings don't have roots, but every part that connects to the ground, right? So our feet, when we are walking, connects to the ground. When we are sitting, our back is connected to our ground, our thighs are connected to the ground. All of that is connected to the ground. That's what keeps us grounded. That's what keeps us in one place. That's what keeps us alive in a lot of ways. But what happens in a situation like this, right? There's so much in our heads. There's so many conversations that we are having. There's so many worries that we are having. What about this? What about that? What about work? What about our family? What about my child's education? All of that is going on in our head. So what we are focusing on when there is a time of trouble is that we're focusing on the leaves, and leaves will move every time there is wind, right? Whenever there is wind, there is some kind of turbulence, there's some kind of movement. The leaves move, but the roots stay intact. The roots don't move even when there's a tornado. Only the plants or the trees that actually get uprooted are the ones that don't have deep roots of theirs, which are superficial. So it's not something that is innate. We're not one plant. We can develop these root systems. So what is this groundedness? How can we remain grounded? How can we change, and how can we make ourselves more stronger so that no wind can blow us, is the conversation that we are going to have today. Apurva, if you can change the slide. Yeah. So if you look at it, compare it to a human emotion, the feeling of groundedness means that you're calm and you're relaxed. Now, in these times, like Nirish said, that we've been in the pandemic for 7 to 8 months, it's very, I can't remember when was the last time I felt relaxed. I don't remember the last time I felt centered, I felt one. I've always been thinking about something, thinking about work, thinking about falling ill, worrying if I'm wearing a mask or not when I'm going out perpetually. I've never just gone out of the house for a walk or anything else. It's constantly my mind is playing. Right? So this feeling of groundedness means there is a calmness, there's a relaxation. You're doing things because you like to do it, not because you have to do it, right? So grounding techniques are basically these techniques that can help you connect to the now, to connect to the moment that you're living through right now. When you're thinking, right, when you are thinking about certain things, you're not thinking about the present. You're thinking about what if this happened, what if that happened, or I wish things could go back. So you're either connecting to the future or you're connecting to the past. But grounding techniques help you understand what you're feeling at the moment or at right now. You're living in the present, right? It can also help you gain focus from an extremely emotional state. That's what grounding can do. So if you're having a panic attack, if you're having an anxiety attack, the techniques that you use to say that no, you're safe right now is what is called as a grounding technique. So all of this, we will be talking about anxiety in detail because that is one of the major things that all of us are feeling during the pandemic. So we will be talking about how grounding techniques can help you deal with this anxiety. So those are the major things that we will be covering today. Apurva, if you can go on. So like I said, right, so have you seen this flower or this plant before? It's called a dandelion. A dandelion is a very it's a very delicate flower. It's a very small, very tiny. It grows like weeds in a lot of places. I know that around my house in Bangalore, I find a lot of this around. And even with a small gust of wind, it loses all its petals like we saw in the video right now. It's a very delicate flower. So what happens is that the plant remains rooted. if you've seen, it's very difficult to uproot that plant. It's a weed, the farmers hate this plant because it comes and it takes over the entire field. But what it does is that it keeps its flowers, its thoughts, its mind, it can clear whenever it wants. Whenever there's a gust of wind, it's like whatever is unessential, whatever I don't need, it sheds all of that, but its roots remain deep inside. So it's very, very difficult to move this. It's very, very difficult to get rid of this plant. And that's what we have to strive to be like. I know that it's a very difficult thing to say, and we will be talking about how to set expectations of yourself as well. But mostly we have to keep this as an example. It's okay to lose certain things, certain parts of your life, if it means remain grounded. So whatever is unessential, whatever things you have no control, you have no control over the wind that is flowing. The dandelion has no control over it. So it says, okay, if the wind wants to take away my flowers, I will let it go, right? So those are the thoughts that we have to have right now. So moving on. So again, like I said, that like the dandelion has no control over the wind, we have no control over the pandemic. We have no control over other people's behavior. We have no control over who wears a mask or who doesn't wear a mask, how many people are getting infected. These are things that we cannot control. We want life to go back to the way it was, but we don't know when that will be. And what that is doing is creating a lot of anxiety for all of us, right? It's creating anxiety over when will my child go back to school? When will I go back to work? When will work get back to normal? We're all working, and we heard this in the webinar last time, that all of y'all are working through extremely difficult conditions because work doesn't stop, child security doesn't stop, and hence the work of people like you cannot stop. So it means that we want things to go back to normal as soon as possible, so that we can harness the support of the community again to make the child safer. So it's becoming very difficult, but we have no control over that. What I do have control over is how to manage my own anxiety, how to be centered, how to be in control over my life, and not to be like the plant that gets, runs over with the wind. We need to be steady in our place so that we are able to perform our duties very well. Because what happens is that when anxiety takes over us, we can only then think of what to do in the future. We can't think of what to do today, right now. So it becomes extremely essential to ground ourselves. So Apurva, can you continue?
Yeah, Rashi, can you hear me? I hope I'm
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you, Rashi. So, as we've been talking about what groundedness can be, and what groundedness, especially in times of today, when we are living through a global pandemic, can mean, I think next it becomes important to kind of understand what makes it also difficult in today's times, apart from the obvious virus that's wreaking havoc everywhere. Anxiety is what we are centering on mainly for the topic now. So if I can try to define anxiety, I think it's a feeling of constant worry, or a sense of unease or discomfort, or even a general feeling of nervousness, which tells us that something really bad is going to happen, or of an impending danger. We say we're not sure that something will happen, but it's just a sense that in the future something really, really bad is going to happen. And for some, the thought might not be that explicit, but the body just gives away certain sense of symptoms that resemble anxiety. We'll talk about that in a bit. And one really important thing to remember is anxiety just doesn't take control over our mind, but it also rests in our body, which is again so important to understand, because so many times I guess some of my clients too have had history of going to medical checkups with certain heart conditions or body aches, muscle pains, things like that. And when there would be testing done, the results would come out as absolutely normal, right? There would be no specific physical diagnosis as such. There would be no condition to sort of explain that you may be suffering from this condition or from this disease. So it becomes that much hard to understand some of the experiences we may be going through, to kind of be able to say that, okay, I'm having these symptoms because I've been experiencing anxiety. So that's why understanding anxiety really becomes important. So to help us understand this in a bit more contextual way, I think anxiety is a perfect tool as humans we've developed through evolutionary process, right? So our ancestors had the same brains as us, or absolutely have had the same brains as our ancestors, and we had to frequently encounter lions and tigers and God knows what other animals in the forest. So when animal, basically a threat, right? When a lion is in front of you, what happens is one's brain would be activated. The threat system, we say, in the brain would be activated. So you can think of this as an alarm going on, right? Which will signal certain stress hormones to be released in the body, which will kind of help our body to act in a way to kind of deal with the threat. In this example, to run away from the lion, or to fight the lion, or to act dead, whatever it was. And today it is just the same case. Instead of a lion, I think there are a billion other reasons to be feeling anxious of, or even there needn't be any particular reason, but it could be a certain trauma, or it could be certain unexplainable reasons too sometimes, which may need further exploration to see what is such. But the result is anxiety. The result is this constant feeling of dread, this feeling of discomfort we experience in ourselves and in our body. So, like I was saying, why I said that this is actually a beautiful tool our evolution has helped us to kind of deal with our threats, is because anxiety is helpful, right? Anxiety is in fact necessary in certain situations. If we weren't about to feel anxious when we were faced in front of a lion, we would just not know what to do and just sort of lose our life. So in a way, to feel a certain amount of anxiety helps us to feel equipped to deal with the threat. Even in today's times, an optimal amount of stress, though it's difficult to define what is optimal, certain stress is important to face our day-to-day challenges, to tackle our problems, to look for something that works for us. So stress is important. Anxiety can be important. However, when it becomes a problem is the question. So like I was saying, when there is threat, we experience anxiety and our body gets this certain functions activated, like blood flow. I'll talk about this in a little more detail in the next slide, but to fit the example, blood flow is rushed to feet so that you can run, basically, or your breathing becomes really fast and shallow, so that a lot more oxygen is taken by the body to kind of fight or face the threat. And when the threat is past, all of these changes in our physiological level come down, which means that we call it as homeostasis. We call it as a sense of balance in our body. It is restored. So when the threat is past, the anxiety comes down because the brain knows that now I don't have to fight anything. The body will understand that I don't have to fight now. I don't have to prepare myself for a fight now. And all our breathing system and blood flow, and all of them come down to normal levels. But when it becomes a problem is that the anxiety levels don't come down and we are actually stuck in a loop. There is no specific threat in front of us, but still we are constantly feeling anxious, right? So the body does not really know that there is nothing to worry about. It may be stuck in the process, or it may be continuously used to getting anxious again and again. There has been no much time left to kind of come back to the balance. So to just sum it up, I think when there is anxiety, when the alarm goes on, your stress hormones are released and body does certain functions, and the anxiety comes down when threat is gone. But when the threat is there and the alarm is on, stress hormones are released, body does functions, threat is gone, but still if your body keeps fighting, then that is the problem. Then that is the anxiety we are talking about. And like it is mentioned in this line, it can affect anybody, irrespective of one's age, sex, personality, or whatever it is that you may want to differentiate one from the other. Right. So I think I want to next talk about how is it that anxiety or hyperstimulation, like I just explained, affect the body. You can see that there, as it's shown in the picture, there are a lot of ways in which anxiety can manifest itself, because like I said, it's basically a threat defense system, right? It's something we do to kind of face the threat. So firstly, to begin with, our thinking and memory systems become compromised. First, let me talk about what will happen in short-term changes, right? If you face anxiety on a short-term level or for a short-term basis, then some of the difficulties in our body functioning could be that there will be a little bit of fluctuations in terms of your thinking capacities and a constant feeling of worry, like I already said. And there can be shallow and rapid breathing because body needs a lot of oxygen to kind of move it through the body and have that energy. There can be stomach issues because your digestion is compromised, which means that there might be feeling of knot in the stomach or feeling of tightness in your stomach. For some people, sleep may be compromised too, and heartbeat gets faster and things like that. And now you can definitely imagine what happens for the long-term stress, which means that if your body is constantly habituated to these anxiety-provoking situations, then how much more is the cost to the body is pretty much what is shown in this slide. All these symptoms, depending on a person's biology and pre-existing conditions, I think this is a very general and large covering symptoms that we talk of, thinking and memory symptoms, by which specifically to mean that there may be blocks in memory. A person might feel like they are they've lost their usual ability in terms of memory. There may be memory fogs for certain periods of time. A person may feel a little blanked out, or there may be a sense of free floating anxiety, right? There doesn't have to be anything specific to trigger. You're just generally experiencing a free floating anxiety all through the day. And then certain sensory functions may get affected, like a few people may experience difficulty in hearing, or a certain sense of tinging sound, or a person may experience blurred vision even. Few people may feel numbness even, and dry mouth, feeling of constant thirst, and things like that. And there can be even sensitive to light as well. One other broadly covering thing to say here is how the anxiety plays on general body functions, right? If you look at the person's body, anxiety mainly gets stored in muscles and body parts, which is to say that there will be a certain sense of tightness in muscles and joints, which explains because when there's a threat, you need to kind of tighten your muscles to feel like you have an armor to protect yourself with. But with anxiety, the tightening just becomes more permanent, and there will be the experience of pain, muscle pains, joint aches, and things like that. And like the picture explains, of course, like I already said, there will be increased metabolism. Your stomach functions may get upset, and then decreased insulin sensitivity, suppressed growth system, which makes sense because when body is in a threat mode, all the survival functions are not important. It doesn't become important anymore to think of keeping your reproductive functions intact, for example, to think of how great your digestion is, to think of how great your sexual interest is, which is again mentioned in the picture. It affects thus in many more areas than we usually think of. And of course, in terms of sleep, insomnia, and I think some other things mentioned here are urgency and frequent urination, suppressed sexual interest. So I think this mainly covers how vast the impact of anxiety on body can look like. So I think we decided to kind of speak about this in such detail because not much is known or understood about the impact of anxiety. But once we understand the overarching impact of it, I think it becomes um, a little less challenging to kind of see now what we can do about this anxiety. Now, how can I take care of my body in the times when it is so difficult to not feel anxious, right? I think that's why this has been one of the central points of our presentation today. Rashi, do you want to
Yes.
take over next?
Yes. So I just wanted to come in, and the reason that we wanted to mention all of these, it can seem very overwhelming to get this much information, but I think that one important part of mentioning these to you is that a lot of times when I started feeling anxious for the first time, I didn't realize it was anxiety because I felt like my fingers were tingling or my heartbeat was high, uh, or I was not eating well. And these don't seem like symptoms of mental health issues. They don't seem like stress related issues. But these are all very, very common symptoms of anxiety. So if you see these symptoms, if you see them in the normal structure of your life, then you might have anxiety, and anxiety in this time is absolutely normal. One question a lot of our clients ask us is, I am sleeping more during the night and not able to sleep in the day at all. And one of the reasons could be there is so much to do in the daytime that you want to escape all of it. You want to escape, like Apurva was talking about it, that this system was created to protect us. This is your body, your mind trying to protect you from the stress, and if it cannot cope with it anymore, it will try to shut down. It will say, I cannot protect you. Like, for example, I bet a lot of you have come across something dangerous. Maybe it's a car going really close to you, or something about to fall on you. You almost slipping down the stairs. All of these feelings are very common, right? The way the body functions for all of this is the same way the body functions for stress. So we can't say ki, when anxiety is good if I'm crossing the road, but not good when I'm writing an exam. We can't pick and choose these things. So if you see these symptoms, remember that this is due to anxiety, and anxiety in these times of pandemic is very, very common. uh, It is like having a snake in front of you for the past 8 months. Your body is going to have effects of it. Constantly there is a snake. I don't know, I'm sorry, that's the only example I can think of. A snake is extremely scary for me. So imagine, I think I'll be more scared of a snake coming in front of me than a tiger. So even if the snake might be non-poisonous, so imagine something really scary being next to you constantly for 8 months. Your body is going to react to it. So give yourself a break. Tell yourself that this is normal. Your body is reacting to something extremely normal. You're not broken. The system is not broken. It is the stress of this situation that, as Apurva mentioned, world over we are all facing. So it is completely natural to have all of these things. So not feeling hungry, all of that is completely normal. Can we move on, Apurva? Correct. So one of the ways, like Apurva mentioned, is that now your body is firing things in every single way, right? It's having all these impact on itself. It's having this various kinds of feelings and emotions that it's feeling. One way to ground yourself through these multiple feelings and multiple sensory, what I call as explosion of your senses, is to bring it back to one sense, right? To bring it back to focusing on the here and now. The one exercise to do it is called the 5 senses exercise. Does everyone know what are the 5 senses that we have? Everyone is familiar with it? So if I were to tell you, the 5 senses are eyesight, hearing, nose, skin, so touch, and taste, right? So these are our 5 senses. We rely a lot on these 5 senses. So right now you're listening to me, looking at me on the screen, but your mind might be somewhere else. You might be eating something, so the taste is somewhere else. You might be smelling something, maybe somebody's cooking, somebody's making chai, there is something, somebody's dumping garbage. All of those are like, your senses are pulled in different directions. So what we need to do is bring all of our senses to one place, right? And how we do that is to look around you in the room and you put your senses together. So first you activate one sense, for example your eyes. Look around you and find 5 things that are red in color. So in front of me there is a stool that is red, there's a jam bottle that is red. I have one of the books that I have in front of me, which I can show you. Hold on. There's a book in front of me that is red. So things like that, pick 5 things around you that is red. My curtains are red, which I just noticed. So things like that, if you can choose 5 things around you that are red or any color that you like, and that what you're doing is you're bringing your focus down to this room right now in this moment where you are. After you've done 5 things that are red in color, try to hear 4 different sounds around you. What are the 4 different sounds? So there's the sound of my voice. I can hear the fan noise around me. I can hear my dog slightly barking in the background. I can hear my neighbor's cooker whistle going off in the background. All of these are sounds that are there. So it's the sounds that are there right now in my room in this focus, right? So you have activated your hearing, you have activated your sight. The next that I want to move on to is touch. So what are the different things around you that are different to touch? So again, I'm going to bring up my book. My book feels different. Yeah, when I touch it, it's a different texture. I have a mug in front of me. The texture of the mug is different. I have my own dupatta here. The texture of that dupatta is different. So I'm trying to find things in my room around me at the moment that feel different. So 3 different textures around me. What are the 2 different smells that I can smell? I can smell a little bit of, like I said, I can smell my neighbor cooking something. I'm not sure what she's cooking, maybe something like rice, or maybe she's making upma, I don't know, but something of that smell I can get. I can also smell a little bit of eucalyptus oil, because I like the smell of eucalyptus. So I lit a candle with eucalyptus oil earlier, so I can smell that. So what are the two smells in this room that you can smell at the moment? Try to focus on those two smells, those two feelings, and what does it make you feel like? Like for me, like I said, eucalyptus oil is something that's very calming for me. I find it very relaxing. And this I kind of understood through by doing the five senses exercise, throughout the months. And I realized that every time I smelled something like wicks or eucalyptus oil, it relaxed me. So now every time I'm nervous, I'm feeling a little anxious, I will put on eucalyptus oil, so that I know that that will ground me, will bring me to reality, right? The fifth and the last sense that we're going to focus is on the mouth, on the taste. What did you eat last? Did you like what you ate? How did it make you feel? Um, is the taste still in your mouth? Is that, I just before this I ate a piece of chocolate, so that taste is still in my mouth. How does chocolate make you feel? All of that focus gives you, so that you are focusing on the sensations of right now. Like I said, when the wind blows, the leaves kind of go here and there, but what we're trying to focus is on the roots. We're trying to focus on the ground. We're trying to put all our weight down into the ground, where things are constant, where things are right now, they're present, they don't move around. Roots don't move around. Roots stay intact in one place. So we're not going to be moving around like the leaves. We are going to be constantly being focused on the roots. We're going to be focused what is constant. So this red curtains, like I said, it's a constant in my life right now. Unless I change it, of course. But right now it's there and nobody can take that away. So it's a very tangible. It's not a what if my curtains were red. It's not what if that had happened. It is my curtains are red at the moment. So your five senses are telling you what is there and not what could be. So you're not moving around like the leaves. You're being stationary like the roots. Yeah, so that is one very essential exercise. And this is an exercise that you can do with anybody at any time, whenever you want, however you want. Just you can do it with only one sense if you want. You can if you feel better after just listing down five yellow things, five green things, whatever you want, and you feel better, that's fine. You don't have to do the entire 5 4 3 2 1 exercise. You can just focus on what you like, and how you feel with focusing your senses. So these are important parts of the exercise. If we have any questions for this, I'll be happy to take them. How is it making you feel? How are you feeling doing this exercise? Did you do the exercise with me? How did you uh, like it? Let me know in the YouTube or even in the Zoom comments. If you're on Zoom with us, please feel free to unmute yourself and talk. There's one raised hand, so I'm going to check if they want to say something. Childline Gadwal, did you have a question on Zoom? If you're on Zoom with us. I'm not sure. Okay. If anyone else has a question or a comment on how this exercise, would you like to do this exercise by yourself? Is this something that you're looking forward to? I mean, I don't want to use this opportunity, but this is something that you can have children who are with you also do. If it is a very great exercise to do if somebody is crying a lot and inconsolably, you feel like you need to give them some activity to do so that their mind changes from the emotional a part of their, having a very adverse emotional reaction. You want them to calm down a little bit before they can tell you something. These are good exercises that you can do with children as well. So yeah. Anyone else have any comments? I'm just going to wait for YouTube also to catch up. Okay, I think we can move on. Apurva, can you? Yeah. So Apurva has spoken about what anxiety can do. We're going to talk about how this can impact groundedness or feeling calm, right? So we saw that groundedness means feeling calm and centered. So anxiety almost is the opposite of groundedness. Anxiety is always making you feel like you're on edge. It always makes you feel like something bad is going to happen, or it's going to be the worst situation. What if that bad thing happens? Anxiety makes you completely focus on the what ifs, or whereas groundedness is about being in the present. So anxiety is focusing too much in the future or the past, whereas groundedness is focusing on the present, like we said. Uh, Anxiety is also like, it's like this thing that keeps gathering more and more momentum. Like if a stone were to fall from a mountain, you know how it starts off slowly but then goes faster and faster as it comes down. That's how anxiety can be. Anxiety can be very difficult to stop once it starts. Groundedness is something that puts a stop to it. Groundedness is what makes that momentum of falling down much slower or more calmer, right? Anxiety makes you feel extremely overwhelmed. Like for example, I have anxiety, so I'm almost constantly anxious most of the time. When I had a really bad bout of anxiety, my BP fluctuated from 50 by 70 to 140 by 90 in a span of 20 minutes. So it is that feeling of being extremely overwhelmed. Your body can't help but react to it. And Apurva has already given us the various psychosomatic reactions that anxiety can have in your body. So all the things that she spoke about, how it can make you feel, is what we call as psychosomatic. So all of these feelings can be present in our body during anxiety. So it becomes very important for us to recognize what is making us anxious and how to move on. So that is very, very important. So yeah. Apurva, can we move on? So Apurva is now going to take us through an exercise which will again bring you to the present. Before we do this, I wanted to check with everyone if we can take 2 minutes to get into a comfortable place where we can do this exercise. You can sit, you can lie down, whatever is comfortable. I would really prefer if you sit down in a comfortable place, on a chair or down on the floor, wherever you are, that's fine. If you have clothing that is restrictive, like if you want to take off a t-shirt that's too tight or anything, that's absolutely fine. And be as comfortable as you can. If you can ask not to be disturbed for the next 20 minutes, that would be great as well. And before that, if we have any questions regarding the earlier part, it would be great to take them. How to understand? Okay, somebody's asked how to understand touch. Touch is anything that you can feel. So you can feel different materials or different, like if you feel like what is cotton, velvet, silk, those kinds of things. You can also feel like, I really like feeling my dog's fur because she's nice and soft. Feeling something wet, maybe like a wet tissue or a wet towel. You can also feel something slightly hard, like maybe the the floor, the cooking area, the ota that we say, or the kadappa on which we put stuff on the kitchen. So those materials. You can also feel things like atta that you use to make roti. All of them are different things. So all of that is different materials that you could be using with touch. So feel free to see what you like, makes you feel nice. Like I said, I really like feeling my dog over and over again. I force her to sit down with me and be like, I want to pet you. I know Apurva has cats, so we do that as well. But anything that you like. I also have a piece of sand, like a bottle of sand that I collected on my trip from Goa, and I keep putting it on my hands and playing with it, because sand also has a very different kind of texture. It's very nice to feel. So those are the kind of things that I like feeling. And books are my absolute favorite to feel, especially new books. If that that or new magazines, the way they feel on your skin is really really nice. A lot of my colleagues also like hand creams, so moisturizers and things like that, to feel on your skin, to feel how good they feel. So all of these are things that we use a lot of. So yeah. Anyone else with anything? If you're on Zoom, please feel free to unmute yourself and say if you would like. Thank you, Surya, for saying that the exercise was nice and that you were brought to the present. I think it's so important that we keep doing this exercise for ourselves. Yeah. The other thing that I want to say is Apurva is going to take us through an exercise right now, the name of which you can find on your screen. It is very common to feel extremely relaxed after this exercise. So if you, it's nice if you could do this exercise in entirety and then continue with whatever you have to do, but try your best to finish this complete exercise today with us. So yeah, Apurva, we can start, I think.
Okay. All right. Like Rashi mentioned, I also would encourage you all to try to do the exercise right now, as I'm going to guide you through it. If it is not possible, maybe you can come back to it after the recording in your own time. That's all right. But yeah, make sure that you're seated comfortably. Um, However, when you're doing this on your own, in your own time, maybe at a different time, you can also feel free to do this exercise on a sleeping position. It will be highly recommended if you may have sleep problems or generally feeling really anxious and want to feel a little grounded, little bit relaxed. Then, like Rashi mentioned, this is one of the most highly recommended grounding exercise to follow. So right now I'm assuming that all of you are all seated, so I'm just going to guide you all through it. So it's not necessary that to do this you have to close your eyes. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, I would say feel free to close your eyes. If not, maybe you can just pick a spot, any spot in your surroundings, and just keep looking at that and try not to see here and there, only because it serves as a distraction. So let's try and make the most of how much ever this may take. This would usually take 15 to 20 minutes. If you're doing it on your own at a different time, you can make it your own. You can make your own changes, like do it in a much more detailed manner, taking half an hour, or if you want to like do it really fast, then in about 5-10 minutes too. All right. I'm assuming that you're all seated comfortably. Just take a moment to see how you're seated, by which I mean pay attention to the way you're seated on your chair or on your bed, and try to feel your feet on the ground. Rashi was talking about the touch sensation and how helpful it can be to really tune in to one of our sensations, right? So try to see if you can feel how the touch on the ground feels like. And feel free to make any adjustments you need to do to your body right now. And once you're all comfortable, we can begin the practice. Let's start with taking a nice breath. Now, this doesn't have to be deep, it doesn't have to be long, because some may have trouble with taking such deep or long breaths. If you're comfortable, please go ahead. If not, it's okay to just continue breathing in your usual speed, in your usual style, but try to make it as conscious as you can. So when you're inhaling the air, pay full attention to how the air reaches through your nose and goes all the way down to your stomach. And when you're exhaling the air, see how the air leaves the stomach and comes through the throat and then back through the nose again. Take one more breath. Inhale. And when you exhale, see and try to exhale through your mouth as if you were blowing a candle. And see how it feels when you exhale the air through your mouth. It just helps to relax much faster when you're exhaling through your mouth. That is why it's recommended. Okay, take one more breath. Inhale. Notice the air filling your body. And slowly exhale through your mouth. It's okay if you're getting distracted. It's only natural to when we are doing practices like this. In case you find yourself distracted, gently bring your attention back to breathing. Now I'm going to call each of your body parts one by one. And what we do is we focus on that body part and we tense that body part. We feel the tension in that body part as much as we can for about 5 seconds, let's say, and then slowly release and feel the relaxation. So that is all we are going to do right now. One by one, we are tensing the body part with inhaling the air, and exhaling the air, we are relaxing that body part. So feeling the tension, feeling the relaxation. Yeah. First, let's begin with your hands. Focus on your fists, both your left and right hand fists. Curl them up, make the two fists in your hands and really tighten them up and feel the tension in these two fists for about 5 seconds. Really feel the tension, feel the pressure. Sorry, did someone want to say something? If not, please mute yourself. And then slowly release all your fingers. Release the fist. Feel the relaxation for about 10 seconds. So what we did is we tensed our fist and then slowly released it. Yeah? So now your fist, both your fists are relaxed. Now let's move to your wrists and your forearms. Extend both your wrists to one direction, maybe away from or towards your head, and feel the tension in your wrist regions with an inhale, right? So first you inhale and then tighten up, you stretch away your wrist, feel the tension, hold it for 5 seconds. And then with a slow exhale, you release the wrist and feel the relaxation for 10 seconds. You can feel the relaxation all over your wrist region now. If not, don't force yourself. Let's just do this and see how it goes. Now let's move to your biceps and upper arms slowly. Again, make a fist and bend your arms at the elbows as if you're bending your hand basically at your elbow, your fist towards your ears, and feel the tension in your bicep region for 5 seconds. You're holding it in this position. And then exhale and slowly relax for 10 seconds. As you release and relax, try to feel the sensation of relaxation in your biceps region as much as you can. Hopefully, your wrist, your forearms, and your biceps are relaxed now. Let's move a little up towards your shoulders. See if you can raise your shoulders towards your ears. Raise them up towards your ears as much as you can with an inhale. And feel the tension in the shoulders for about 5 seconds. Hold it in this position. Feel the maximum tension. And then exhale and slowly release the shoulders for about 10 seconds and feel the relaxation. You don't have to do it in any sort of hurry. The key is to go about this as slowly and consciously as we can. So now your shoulders are deeply relaxed. Now let's move to face, beginning with your forehead. Yeah? So let's try to raise our eyebrows as much as we can. Raise them up and feel the pressure in your forehead. Feel the tightness. Feel the tension in your forehead. And hold it in this position for 5 seconds. And then slowly release and relax for 10 seconds. The forehead is completely relaxed. Please try to mute yourself, whoever will be on. Now just for a while, keep your eyes closed. Close your eyes as tightly as possible while remaining comfortable. And feel the pressure, feel the tension in your eyes for about 5 seconds. And then with a deep exhale, release, relax your eyes, feel the relaxation for 10 seconds. Slowly inhale, and with the breath in, focusing on your cheeks and jaws, smile as widely as you can and try to feel the pressure and the tension in your cheeks, in both your cheeks. For about 5 seconds, hold the position of a wide smile. Feel the tension, maximum tension. Exhale and release, relax for 10 seconds. Feel the relaxation in your cheeks, in your jaw, and your chin also maybe. Keep breathing. Try to keep doing the conscious breathing. And now let's move to the region around your mouth. Press your lips as tightly as you can and feel the tension in your lips for about 5 seconds. Hold it like that. And then with a long exhale, release the lips and feel the relaxation in your lips for 10 seconds. So now we can see that your whole face will be completely relaxed. Your forehead, your eyes, around your nose, your cheeks, your lips, and your chin. Let's take time to feel the relaxation experience so far in your fist, in your wrists, in your forearms, in your biceps, in your shoulders, and all of your face. Keep breathing, keep inhaling and very slowly exhaling. Now let's move a little below your face region and focus on your neck. In your mind's eye, take a look at the back of your neck and press the back of your head, your neck basically, against the chair. Yeah, so as if you're pushing your head away from your chest. You're trying to look backwards and feel the tension in the back of your neck for 5 seconds. Stay in this position Feel the tension, maximum tension. And then with a long exhale, release the position, come back to original position. Feel the relaxation for 10 seconds. Now let's just do this in reverse. We turned our head backwards, now let's do it frontwards. So with an inhale, bring your head down towards your chest region, bring your chin down towards your chest region, and feel all the tension building up in your neck and your head too, maybe. Feel the tension for about 5 seconds. Hold the position. Try to feel maximum tension. And then the long exhale. Slowly release, slowly relax. Come back to original position for about 10 seconds. Taking time to completely experience the relaxation in your neck and your head. Now a little further below, let's focus on your chest. Take a deep breath in and notice your chest filling with the breath, filling with the air, and hold the breath over there for 5 seconds. So it may feel a little bit hard. Try to do this as much as you can. Don't force yourself. Feel the tension. 5 seconds, maximum tension in your chest. And then exhale. Leave it all out. Let it go. And feel the relaxation for 10 seconds. So now hopefully the chest is completely relaxed. Back of the neck, front of the neck, and your chest, all of these areas of your body are completely relaxed. Keep breathing. Now let's move to your back region. Arch your back up and away from the chair or from the wall, wherever your balance is. So stretch your back as much as you can. For about 5 seconds, feel the tension, maximum tension. And with a long exhale, release the position and relax for 10 seconds. Now let's move to your stomach region. Tighten your stomach muscles as much as you can. Maybe imagine sucking it into a tight knot and feel the tension building up in your stomach for about 5 seconds. Maximum tension, maximum tension. And then with a long exhale, release and relax for 10 seconds. Feel the relaxation in your stomach. We are coming to the end of the exercise. chest and your stomach are completely relaxed. Let's focus on your hips and buttocks region. Press your buttocks together as tightly as you can for about 5 seconds. Feel the tension building up. Feel the pressure. And then with a long exhale, release, relax for 10 seconds. And let's move further down to your thighs. Both your left and your right thighs. Try to tighten your thigh muscles as much as you can, as tightly as you can. For 5 seconds, feel the tightness in your thighs. And slowly release. Release the muscles in your thighs. Feel the relaxation for 10 seconds. Now let's move to your knees, your left and your right knees. Again, tighten them up with an inhale. As much as you can, tighten them up for 5 seconds. Feel the tightness, feel the tension in your knees. And then with a long exhale, release, relax. Take time for about 10 seconds for complete relaxation. Now hopefully your hips and buttocks and thighs and your knees are completely relaxed. A little further down, let's move to your calf muscles. Take an inhale and tighten your calf muscles, both your calf muscles for 5 seconds. Experience the tightness, maximum tightness. Hold it there. And then with a long exhale, release and relax for 10 seconds and feel the relaxation in both your calf muscles. And lastly, let's move to your feet region. Let's focus on the toes on your left and right foot. Point your toes first up towards your face. So as if you're curling them up towards your face, all your toes. For 5 seconds, feel the tension building up in your entire feet. And slowly release and relax for 10 seconds. The same thing in reverse. Now let's curl the fingers downward towards the ground. Maximum curling and feel the tightness building up in your feet again. Maximum tension, maximum tightness. With a long exhale, release. Feel the relaxation all over your feet for 10 seconds. So the calf muscles, feet, your toes, are completely relaxed. The whole body is completely relaxed. Whole body starting from the top of your head all the way down to your toes, completely relaxed. With no pressure, just try to stay with this experience of relaxation for a little more longer. And slowly let's shift our attention back to breathing. Let's take a couple of conscious breaths. Inhale and very slowly exhale. And again, inhale and slowly exhale. Try to, if you're closing your eyes, before opening your eyes, try to just sort of picture what was there in your surroundings earlier. Try to imagine the things that were there earlier, just to orient better when you open your eyes. And with that, you can very slowly and comfortably open your eyes. Take a moment to look here and there. Familiarize yourself to the present moment, to the present environment. And see how you're feeling. We're done with the exercise. That was GPMR, kind of progressive muscle relaxation exercise. We would love to hear if someone wants to share on chat or even by unmuting themselves on Zoom and just share about your experience or how you're feeling right now.
Apurva, somebody on YouTube has asked us to share the details of these exercises with pictures, and I just wanted to let them know that we will be doing that. We will be sharing this PPT uh, with the team at CHILDLINE Foundation, and along with that, we will share detailed resource on how to do JPMR with pictures. We had planned to, so that you can use that with children as well, but mainly for yourself on a reminder. And anyway, this video will also be up on YouTube. So if you ever want to come back and do JPMR while listening to Apurva's voice, you can come back to this video and listen to it. So both these resources will be available with you. But I just wanted to check if you did even a part of this. I understand that sometimes it's very difficult to do the entire JPMR from beginning to the end. I struggle with it even now. But if you were able to do even a part of it, even for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, how did you feel? Uh, did you now realize that there could be some challenges uh, in focusing on your body or focusing on how you're feeling because your mind keeps running away? Uh, how many of you have thought of doing yoga to calm yourself down? These are all uh, aspects of yoga. We use aspects from yoga, the practice of yoga, into these exercises as well. They are very similar in focusing on your breath or focusing on your body, which is what yoga also talks about. So if you are used to doing yoga, you might find these exercises slightly more easier. And if you feel like yoga is too much, you can start off by doing these exercises as well. So how did you feel if even one or two of you who have done the exercise even a little bit can share? That would be great. Anyone? You can paste it in your YouTube chat. You can unmute yourself if you're on Zoom and tell us. Okay. I'm not sure if people want to share, and I understand. Uh, yes, we will be sharing stuff like Surya has commented on the chat. Chitrakala has also posted it on the chat that it can help. It helped calm the nerves. Yes, that is the point of this exercise, is to help calm yourself down. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing that. So I just want to take a moment, and Teresa also says that the activity did relax me. Thank you so much, both of you, for sharing. That's very, very kind of you. And the point was to get you to relax. So there are two things that I wanted to mention right now. One is that I have worked as an interventionist for survivors of sexual assault and domestic violence, and sometimes while working in crisis, uh, you forget to take care of yourself, because taking care of yourself is the last thing on your mind, because there's so much work to be done. And based on the last webinar that we did, I also know that all of you are involved in a number of COVID related activities as well. So it becomes very important to take at least 10 minutes of your time to do something like this, to relax yourself, to find ways to develop your groundedness, to develop your roots, because then otherwise it can be, it becomes very easy to get swayed. It's very easy to move away. So I want to take the next couple of minutes where I want to talk about creating deeper roots, creating better systems for yourself. Uh, Sorry, did somebody unmute themselves? Did somebody say? If can you unmute? Okay. Okay. So if you are somebody who doesn't take care of yourself, it can be extremely uh, draining at the end. When this ends, you will find yourself extremely drained. You'll find yourself struggling. So at least for 10 minutes, do something for yourself. Uh, since the beginning, we've used the example of the tree, right? So if I consider that all the connections that I make for myself, all the things that protect me, all the things that make me better as my roots, and all the things that can make me like, they're not worries, but they're not really my roots either, like my work, etc. And finally, all the things that I'm worried about as my leads. I think we should recognize and do like a small analysis of what are the things that protect me. Like, for example, my family could be a protective factor, that I don't have to worry about them. They ensure that I get food on time, that I eat, I drink water, that I'm taking care of myself. That's what my family does for me. My worries are about my health, my dad's health, my work. All of those are my leaves and what that does for me. uh, Other things like my house rent and stuff like that could be my stem, my bark, my, the thickest part, that it forms a big part of what I am doing, but I'm not really worried about it. I'm not 100% worried about it. So if we look at things like that, if we can look at what are the protective factors involved right now, what are some of the things that are protecting me, that are helping me, like this webinar could be one of the things that is helping you. I'm not saying it has to, but it could be one of those things. If we can write down 5 things that you think for yourself are helpful things for you right now, and we promise or make it a goal to do at least one of them every day. If you like listening to music, we ensure that I listen to at least 10 minutes of music every single day. If I like dancing, even if it's in the bathroom, even if it's in my bedroom with nobody seeing, I need to do 10 minutes of dancing every day. If I like reading, if I like making a cup of tea, if I like whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Walking, there are so many activities that we have given up because of this pandemic, because it's dangerous to go out. But it's okay to take 10 minutes of your day, find some space, and do it for yourself. I know it's not ideal, that it's not something that everyone can do. Even if you can't think of 5 things, can you think of 2 things that you need to do? Can we all list down at least 2 things that we would like to do in the future for ourselves, and we have a list ready, so the next time you're feeling overwhelmed, the next time you're feeling like there's too much to do, there is a lot of wind blowing, I can feel my leaves going here and there, I am scared, I don't know what to do, we have a list ready. We have a list of activities that you can do so that you feel grounded, so that you can feel relaxed. So what are these 5 things that you would like to do? Can we make a list of it really quick for yourself? And this list will look different for you, will look different for Purva, will look different for every one of us. So just quickly take the next 5 minutes, and can we make this list? Everyone for yourself. Just don't have to share it with me, don't have to share it with anyone else. Just write down 5 things that you can do when you're relaxed or to relax you. What is the 5 things that makes you feel nice, that makes you feel comfortable? What are those things? If we can quickly, in the next 5 minutes, make that list. If you have questions regarding this, we're there on WhatsApp, on YouTube, we're there everywhere. I can also post a Facebook if you want, to connect with us. All of those options are available with you. If you have questions regarding this, you tried doing something, it didn't work out, but you would like support, please go ahead. You can talk to us anywhere you want. Right now in YouTube, I am posting our Facebook page. Feel free to talk to us there. We also have our email ID that you can take from anyone in the CHILDLINE Foundation team. We are there for you to exactly provide these kinds of services. So please reach out. Though we are conducting this webinar in English, we also speak a number of languages. I know a lot of you are from South of India as well as Northeast India. So we do have people speaking almost every South Indian language that, yeah, I think we speak almost every South Indian language. Apurva here herself speaks Kannada, speaks Tulu. So please, if you want the counseling session in that language, we're available as well. Our team members also speak Malayalam, Tamil, uh, those languages are available as well. from the Northeast, we speak Ahomya. We don't have anyone else speaking other languages, but we'll surely add that as well. Any other questions that you might have, we'll be happy to answer them. Is someone talking? Zoom shows it to me, but I can't hear them. Is it just me?
You're clear, Rashi?
Yeah, so I just thought somebody else was also talking because Zoom showed that to me, but I couldn't hear anything, so I wasn't sure. Perfect.
Now
So,
it shows that I'm talking, so yeah.
yeah, no, that's okay. So have we created the list of what are the things that ground us? What are the things that we're going to do for relaxation? Do we all have that list? And can we all just say that we will be doing these things at least once a day? I want you all to think about the last time that you did something just for yourself. Not because somebody else asked you to do it, not because it would be nice to do it, but because you wanted to do it. When was the last time you went out and bought your favorite vegetables so that you could cook? When was the last time that you bought your favorite fruit? A lot of my examples will be related to food because I really like to eat, as you can see. So when was the last time that you did something just for yourself? It could be anything. It could be about watching your favorite TV show, not watching the news for once, but watching your favorite TV show, just laughing, calling up a friend. All of those things are things that ground us. It makes our roots deeper. It makes us more impervious to the storm that's coming. Again, like, remember, I want to keep mentioning this point that what we are facing uh, is anxiety for a really long time. 8 months is not something which anybody is supposed to face anxiety. We're not even supposed to face anxiety for 8 minutes. It's supposed to be for 8 seconds, right? uh, but we have been doing it for 8 months. Your body is going to react to this, so we need to treat our bodies well. We need to be aware that our body is going through something difficult. So yeah, somebody else wanted to say something. So treat yourselves well. Don't be mad at your body for sleeping too much, for eating too much. That's how it deals with anxiety. These are all symptoms that your body is trying to tell you, I need rest, I need to relax, and to do these relaxation exercises so that it can serve you better. Also remember that if you've ever run, right, if you want to run for a long distance, you need to keep taking breaks. You need to keep letting your body replenish its water. People carry those biscuit packets, glucose packets, because you need energy throughout while running. If you're running a short distance, it doesn't matter, but 8 months is long distance. It's extremely long, and we don't know if it's going to end anytime soon. So remember to treat your body well, to take care of it, and we are available for any kind of input that you might require. So if you don't want to be blown by the cyclones that are coming and going, please remember to stay grounded. uh, I think, Apurva, do you have anything else to add? I think.
No, Rashi, I think I was just, I think, thinking of my own coping mechanisms and my own roots, the tree, like you were telling, and how much important it really becomes to kind of reflect on them, and to also know that something that worked for us for a long time might not work, and we may have to constantly change or discover more of our coping styles or some of the things that doing which relaxes us. But it's a process, I guess. I just wanted to add that bit. So it's okay if you haven't been able to figure out what it is your thing yet specifically, but I think it's just one of those things which we try and see if it works for us or not. So yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for adding that. I think, would like to see if anyone has any thoughts, anyone has any feedback to give. I think, can stop this webinar at this point if everyone's okay.
Rashi,
Yes.
I'd also just like to add that apart from being a process and apart from it being different for different individuals, any mechanisms that we use to deal with anxiety, anything that we do which makes us feel better, can also be differently effective in different times.
Absolutely.
So I may enjoy reading a book, but in the current situation, because of the fact that we are staring at the screen for so long, maybe my eyes feel so tired that reading is not the thing that I would think of to relax. So we shouldn't get worried by that, that I used to enjoy something so much and now it's not helping.
Absolutely. I think that's a wonderful example as well, of, finding something that works for you right now. Something that works for you in this present moment is very important. And it may or may not be the same that you used to cope otherwise. If you like, for example, the example that ma'am also gave, that if you liked reading but you can't just think of straining your eyes anymore, it's a message that your body is telling you that your eyes need rest. You need to find something else. You need to do something else. For a lot of people, like I constantly have my earphones on because of the number of meetings I'm having. I can't think of even doing music anymore, so I just go for a walk. Or I make my dogs walk much longer than what she's used to, and she kind of hates me for it, but that's okay. Maybe she'll become fitter as well. So these are the kinds of coping mechanisms that you have to constantly evolve. Even something that worked for you last week may not work this week. Yesterday may not work today. What worked in the morning may not have worked in the afternoon. All of this is, like Apurva said, is a process of finding what works for you and being ready to explore different options that you might have. And always remember that you have a wonderful team, that you need to rely on each other, and constantly go out and talk to your colleagues about work, talk about what you're doing, talk about the stresses that you're feeling. When we do case presentations, etc., we are always talking about cases, but we have started talking about how are you feeling now, how are you dealing with it, because you are just as important part of the case as the client is, or as the person in front of is. So your health is important. Thank you so much for sharing that, ma'am. I think that was a useful example, definitely. Anyone else who wants to share? Just gonna check YouTube as well. Just a second. Okay, it looks like we're fine with YouTube as well. Okay. I just wanted to say thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Haleen ma'am, for being a part of this webinar and sharing your valuable inputs. It was really great to hear. Yes.
Thank you very much. Anyone has any questions? Any comments? So I may call upon Surya. She's from CHILDLINE India Foundation, Training and Research Officer in CKH. to conclude the session and give word of thanks to our speakers. Surya, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Vajanti. And thank you for giving the opportunity to conclude the session. So, actually, when we listened to the topic, the groundedness, many of us even didn't understand what exactly it means. But today in this webinar, we got to know it is a centered or being relaxed or calm. So, which is a new strategy to deal with our anxiety and emotions as well. Also, it was well explained how anxiety is impact creating impact in our own body. We many of the time keep thinking about anxiety and stress, but we how it creates impact in our own body, that you have brought up in a comprehensive manner today. Also, it's really enjoying doing the exercise, 5 sense exercise, which I have experienced. It was interesting too. Also, we have conducted muscle relaxation techniques to exercise, which was interested. But also, we received some feedback from YouTube as well. If that have come up with some pictorial type, it would have been much more interested to all the participants. So overall, it went out well. And I take this opportunity to thank the speakers of today, Rashi and Apurva, who had done a comprehensive manner, and it went on well. Thank you. And the alternative story team, I thank you for being coordinated with us in conducting continuous webinars as such. So thank you. And it's a special thank to the Executive Director of CHILDLINE India Foundation, Dr. Anjaya Pandari, and we have Arlene Walia, Deputy Director of CHILDLINE India Foundation, who are always supporting us behind the screen and pushing us to move further. So thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir. Also, the leadership team of CHILDLINE India Foundation behind the screen, always supporting us to take any activity which we wanted to do for the team. So thank you. And it's really a special thank to the RRCH and CICs who find time for being here to attend webinars, even in their busy schedule. So thank you, CICs and RRCH, for being with us. Of course, we have our partners, and even they are very busy in doing field and doing intervention, supporting children, but still they could join with us in YouTube as well, and some of us are there along with in Zoom call. So thank you. And of course, I would like to thank our team for well coordinated the webinar session. So thank you once again. Thank you, Agency.
Thank you, Surya. And looking forward to Hindi and Marathi session as well.
Yeah, looking forward to the Hindi session.
Absolutely, absolutely. We as well. So much, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
Rashi
you.
and
Thank you.
Thank you.